everybody. We are here with Brian A. Metcalf today. He is producer, writer, director, actor. I don't think there's much that he doesn't do. Movie Making with Renelle Golden is brought to you by Samira Entertainment, supporting indie films and the filmmakers who create them. Stop by their website to learn more, www.samiraentertainment.com. That's www.samiraentertainment.com. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm thrilled to have you here. I love what I've seen of your work, and I can't wait to share your journey with people. So let's get right to it. How the heck did you get into this industry?
Well, being in this industry, I've always wanted to be in this industry since I was a child. But I started out, I went to an art school, and then I came over from New Jersey to LA. And from there, I basically ended up becoming a digital artist, a storyboard artist, a creative director.
Oh,
and
wow.
then doing creative directing and visual effects and all those things, and going from that into directing, starting out with commercials, music videos, etc. And then from there to just directing my own films.
That's kind of amazing. When you started out, when you were younger, did you think, oh, I want to be an actor? Or did you know I want to be behind the camera?
More than anything, I wanted to be a director, a writer-director. That was my main passion. I ended up taking an acting class, Actors for Directors, to work better with actors.
Oh, I love that.
And from there, I started to find a love for acting. So,
You probably looked at it a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm. I definitely did.
Cool.
And I found it to be a very fun journey and everything. And I was asked to do a short, and I agreed. And it was a great experience.
Oh, that's so cool. So the storyboard artist, the visual effects artist, what made you also learn that skill? Did you know it would be a stepping stone to directing?
I wanted to learn everything I possibly could about the film industry, everything from photography. I mean, when I was younger, I studied photography and the film camera and 35 millimeter, composition, layout, design, writing. I mean, I wanted to learn everything I possibly could. And I had the opportunity to go into visual effects without going necessarily to school for it. And then after that, I went to school afterwards.
Love that.
Taking classes at Noman School of Visual Effects.
Oh, wow.
And I found it just to be a fantastic industry to be in and stuff like that.
Yeah. So has that helped you as a director? Do you actually draw upon those skills when you're kind of creating the roadmap for your films?
Absolutely. It helps out tremendously in so many ways. I mean, same with being an editor. I worked as an editor as well. And all of this stuff is all building towards becoming a filmmaker, and is something that I'm trying to always learn every day to be a better filmmaker all the time. It's always studying films and TV and studying your favorite directors and learning what works and doesn't work, watching really bad movies as well and studying why those don't work. It's really a fascinating experience for me personally to be like, oh, wow, this doesn't work, and why doesn't it work and stuff. So when you are putting together your team, what do you look for for your DP? Because obviously with your skill set, you are going to be very hands-on in the overall visual look and feel of your film. So how do you build a team? The team has to be very hands-on as well. They have to be very much go-getters. I've been fortunate enough to work with some very powerful DPs who really knew what they were doing, which is fantastic, and some that weren't so knowledgeable. But I think what's been very important for me in picking the DPs in particular is knowing what their skill sets are, seeing how they pay attention to lighting, seeing how they, what their knowledge of camera and the lenses and all that type of stuff. Oh, that's good. That is good. So what was your very first film that you shot as a director? I made a short film called Sorrows Lost years ago. And that short film got into some film festivals and won me some awards. And that's actually what led to my first feature film, because it drew some attention from some investors who came to me and said, hey, we'd be interested in turning this into a feature. Oh, wow. That's very cool. What were you on your very first film that you were directing? Did you kind of do everything? My first film was actually a tremendously bad experience.
Oh, you learned everything what not to do kind of thing.
It wasn't just that. It was extraneous. Like, here's an example of some of the things that went wrong. So we were filming a scene, or we were going to go film some scenes, and there were the fires in Santa Clarita. And because of that happening, our schedule got shifted around by days. And when the fires were over, we were trying to reschedule with the actors. Some of the actors couldn't come back. They were on to other projects. They were flying off to other places. So we lost some of our actors for good.
So what did you do? Like rewrites or recasts or?
Well, it was a matter of rewrites and trying to fit however way you could. But some of these actors, it was really hard because they were the main actors.
Oh, and you'd already filmed with them.
And we'd already filmed a lot of the
pain
scenes.
In the butt. Oh, wow.
And so they weren't coming back. And I was like, oh, no, what now? And then on top of that, and that's where some of my visual effects skills came in, because we had to add them into other scenes. And it was just like, these are horrible. Then we had a big thing, a full day in Pasadena that we were shooting. And one of the camera people who were somewhat new, he basically exposed all the because we shot this on 35 millimeter, he exposed the entire reel of all the A cam footage. So we were left with nothing but B cam footage.
Oh my, okay.
And then also after the Santa Clarita fires, we ended up filming down there, and then it was raining so bad. It became the opposite of raining so bad that our equipment started washing down and running down the ways and stuff when we were filming at Sable Ranch. So it was lost in La Mancha. It was very much lost in La Mancha. I mean, we even had a mansion that we were filming at, and basically one of the places, the owner of the place just decided that because he got an offer from Universal, he just came to me. We were set to be there for like a few days.
Oh no.
And after the first day of shooting there, he said, "You guys got to get out of here." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, I have Universal who made an offer and they're coming in tomorrow."
Oh my God.
And I'm like, "But we made an agreement with you for 3 days." And he's like, "Sue me, but you're not coming in."
Wow.
So it was very much, my first experience was a nightmare. On top of constant rewrites being thrown at me from one of the investors who was like, "Well, we're changing this, we're doing that." There were so many things that were happening. And it didn't stop there. In post-production, we were promised a certain amount of time, and our investor turned around and said, "You got to turn this out now." And they cut our post-production time by over half. And it was like, what do you mean? Like,
wow.
Yeah. So
you know what's interesting? You went through all of that. Mm-hmm. And you're still standing today, which means you actually are where you're meant to be and doing what you're meant to do in life, because you overcome. It sounds like more happened on that set than happens in like 10 sets. I mean, there's always something, right?
It was a nightmare. I mean, literally, I actually considered quitting filmmaking for a little bit. I was just like, this is just not good.
Oh, wow.
But I essentially forced myself to get back into it and pick myself up and keep moving forward.
Oh my God. Wow.
And the experiences have been far easier since then, but there's still always budget restriction problems and other problems that happen that are similar. Just nothing like that happened on my very first film. The first film was absolutely terrible. It was a terrible film, but because I know of what had happened and what we'd gone through on it, it deserved an A just for getting done.
Yeah, for getting it done. Oh, I totally understand that. That's amazing.
I gave the film to 3 editors to take a look at with the footage, and they were like, "You don't have a finished film." That's the response to me.
Oh my God. But you couldn't have predicted anything from the fires to the schedule issues, but
yeah, that was quite an experience. But, at the same time, definitely made me learn a lot. And when the reviews came out for the film, they were horrendous. And I'm like, yeah, I agree 100%. I was sitting there going,
one of those that.
Yeah. Wow. I was just looking at them going, yeah, these are terrible. So.
Oh my God. Well, was your next experience much, much better?
My next experience, it had its own set of issues. And again, every one of my films have had issues of some kind, The film that I've had the most freedom on, per se, was my last film, Adverse.
That was beautiful.
Now, my most recent project is underdeveloped just as a TV project, but my last film was my easiest film experience. And even that had a lot of issues of its own, too. So
I think that's just par for the course. And I know since COVID, we always have something, but the issues have been a lot more like unpredictable.
Yeah.
Because you've worked with some amazing talent. And I mean, I love it. I loved watching your reel and seeing this talent on screen. So obviously you have union experience, you know what that's like, but some of the things that have like kind of blindsided me as a filmmaker started because of COVID. And, you know, I hear it's easing up now. And then of course they have the strike and all that good stuff, which hopefully won't last too long, but did you find that, because I'm looking at your dates and you were definitely filming during COVID, did you find that there were challenges you never would have expected to have that just felt like they weren't even filmmaking related?
I mean, sure, with COVID, you have to have a compliance officer. You have to make sure that nobody has it. Now, I will say I was very, very fortunate to not have anyone get COVID.
Yes.
At the time. That was really a fantastic blessing for us. But at the same time, when we were filming, it was at the beginning, you know, it was at the beginning of this year, roughly, and end of last year. And basically, during that time, you know, COVID was already subsiding. It was not nearly what it used to be.
Yeah.
Earlier and everything like that. So it was a great thing that, again, nothing happened. That was too insane.
Yeah, it always is. And, you know, hopefully in the future, we won't have those kind of, it'll get handled quicker, easier, and we won't have as much downtime if something else like this happens. But
exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So do you have a favorite project that you've ever worked on?
Well, funny enough, my most recent project, I really liked the environment because it's a comedy, and that was my first foray into doing comedy, and everyone just had such a good time and we were always laughing together.
Is that Underdeveloped?
Yes, Underdeveloped was definitely a really fun experience just because we were laughing together and having such a fun time together.
I love that. What is it about? Or can you tell me?
Yeah, no, it's
without giving it away. I don't know.
It was great. It's about a group of inexperienced producers who are forced to work together.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah, no, this guy named Stan comes in and he gets in based upon nepotism because his brother-in-law, Ralph, hires him. And essentially what happens is that another guy named Joe is passed up for promotion who's meant to have the role of running the department, but he gives it to this other guy and played by my character, Stan. And my character is extremely inexperienced.
Did you act? You acted in it too?
Yes, I acted in it as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh my God.
I felt I had to because the project was so personal to me in a lot of ways that it was just something that I felt I had to do. So.
Oh, wow. You wrote this. You're a writer as well.
Yes, I am.
When did you get into writing and what inspired you to create this series?
I got into writing years ago. I'm not saying I was good at it, but I started writing years and years ago. I mean, I've been writing ever since I was a young kid. I'd write my own little story lines and comic books and everything like that. And I'd draw my own stuff or whatever when I was a kid. So I've been writing probably my whole life. But when I got serious into writing was in, when I first came to LA, I wanted to make a screenplay and I wasn't very good at it. And I bought all these books on how to write a screenplay and started reading screenplays. And I started realizing that I don't know how to write. So I had to keep, learning and seeing what was working and what wasn't working as a writer and everything there. And it's just something that got easier and easier for me over time.
And you've written a lot and produced a lot that you wrote yourself. So what inspired you for Underdeveloped? Because it seems like a lot of your personal experience might be kind of influencing that.
Absolutely. Well, it's funny when I was going to pitch meetings and having conversations with agents and making negotiation deals with actors and everything, there would be the weirdest stuff that came up that I'd be like, wait, is this a joke? Am I on a, and I kept asking myself, am I on a sitcom myself?
Oh, God.
And so it's stuff that I kept saying to myself, I have to write this down. I have to write this down.
Oh, wow.
And that's what I kept saying. And eventually it just got overwhelming that I was just like, okay, I'm going to write this stuff down and start and make my own show out of this.
I love it. Have you guys finished filming season 1?
Yes. All of season 1 was entirely filmed.
Cool.
And we finished it off, and basically we ended up locking in the distribution and everything of it.
Oh my God, that's excellent.
Before the writer's strike happened. Thank goodness.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
wow.
And then just the whole thing has been a fantastic thing. And the reason why the actors are able to promote this is because we got a SAG waiver.
That's great.
We're independent. So based upon the guidelines, the WGA allows you to promote your own projects as long as you're not doing it for a studio. And because we're independent, we're good. And because we got a waiver from SAG, the SAG actors are allowed to promote it as well. So we're completely in the
that's fantastic.
Being able to promote this, and otherwise we wouldn't be able to. And everything. So
I hope it doesn't last too long, because, we all have projects we want to do, and we're indie. We're like small indie, but it is what it is. And the reasons for the strike, the ones that I'm aware of, they're really important and valid.
Oh, yes. Yes. The thing is that we did Comic-Con recently, and I was really hesitating on going to Comic-Con, but at the same time, I thought, this is an opportunity because we're getting a giant room with over 1,000 people.
Oh,
it's an opportunity to be able to share with people the importance of the strikes and to talk about it.
That's a good way to look at it, and that dialogue.
Yeah. And so I actually, when I went to Comic-Con, I basically stated to everybody, and I told my moderator, I was like, I'm not going to do any questions, about writing, but I'm going to focus on the strikes during that point and talk about the importance of it. And the actors, again, we weren't going to have any of the actors up there, but we got the SAG waiver, and so they gave us full permission to do so.
Wow.
And the SAG waiver, what it essentially means is that no matter what is agreed upon with the AMPTP, we agree to the rules and the amounts of what SAG wants. So they want people to do the waivers because it's overall good for the.
Yeah, and you know what? That's more than fair, because it enables the indie filmmakers to still work. Mm-hmm. And it enables actors to still work, provided, you're agreeing to those terms. It's a good thing.
Exactly. Wow. It's a fantastic experience.
Yeah, I agree. Do you have any projects, obviously with the strikes, it might be, everything might be on pause, but what's your next project?
Here's the interesting thing is, in this industry, I was working on several studio based projects before the strikes happened. And when the strikes came up, that prevented me from doing any of them. So I don't know what's going to happen after the strikes, where they're at currently, because we're not allowed to talk with any of the studios currently.
Oh, right.
I mean, I can as a producer if it's a project that I did not write myself.
Gotcha. Right, because you're WGA. I'm
WGA, correct.
Yeah.
But as a writer and on any of my own projects, I'm not allowed to do that. But as a producer, on projects that I didn't write scripts, I'm still allowed to talk to them about that stuff. But it's a whole kind of thing where it's like, it's a gray area, and it's one of those things. So I haven't really been speaking with the studios so much since the strikes happened.
For the writers, is the strike affected by AI as much as it is for the actors?
It is. I mean, there's ChatGPT, and what they're doing is they're making full scripts just by having AI create them, and then asking a writer to do rewrites on an AI script that they own, that the studios would own.
Wow.
So AI, it's extremely important for AI. And essentially what AI does is it takes from other well-known scripts done by real people, and it makes a creation of a combination of that and stuff. So it could take a script, if you wanted a crime thriller, it could say, well, it's going to take a script from Goodfellas meets Heat meets The Godfather and make its own script off of it, but it's taking from real scripts written by real people. And that's the problem. And they're not getting the credit for it or anything like that. So AI is a very dangerous, in my opinion.
Scary. I'm not WGA, but I'm a writer. That's my main thing. And I've been affected by it, because there are people I work with and they're like, oh no, I'm going to have my I'm going to have my whatever do it. And I was like, what? And I didn't understand that was AI. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's been multiple times now. And, I'm kind of glad that they're fighting this out now. And I hope the outcome is long-term, that'll be satisfying for the long term. So, well, a couple of questions. What advice would you give to somebody wanting to enter into the entertainment industry or, become a filmmaker?
My advice is to just go ahead and do it. And here's what I mean by that is you're saying, well, what do you mean by doing it? It's like everyone has a phone now. Everyone has a phone with a camera.
Right.
You have the most accessible things to you. I mean, as a kid, when I was growing up, I didn't have a camera for a long time. My parents finally bought us the family camera at some point, and I started creating my own stuff from there and everything. But until that point, I didn't own a video camera or anything of that sort. So it's about being able to have the ability right now to create your own content and to get good at it. Get yourself and a couple friends together and just make something.
I love that.
And the other thing is to do a lot of research, watch a lot of movies and study them. Study why certain movies are good and certain movies are bad, or why you liked the movie and why you didn't. Study the shots, study the writing, the acts, study the acting, study everything you can about filmmaking. And that's what's key to me. And that's something that it's so funny because right now to this day, I'm always watching movies. I'm always studying them. I can never look at a movie the same, but I'm always checking.
I was going to ask you, do you look at them differently now? Because
I do.
I'm a seasoned filmmaker with so much experience.
Well, the thing is that before I had actually made my first feature film, I was studying as to why I liked the film and didn't like a film. I was studying the importance of good editing and good layout and composition. And this is stuff that if you want to be a serious filmmaker, you have to do, and you can't stop doing this. You have to keep it moving forward.
Right.
When I was a kid, as opposed to now, filmmaking has changed a lot. Obviously, edits are faster.
Right.
People's attention spans are shorter.
True.
It used to be that something had to happen. The inciting incident had to happen in the first 30 pages. Now it's like within the first 10 pages.
Yeah.
It's constantly changing, and you have to keep evolving and moving forward and finding out why. And you have to learn from these new filmmakers and keep learning from older filmmakers and studying and what works and everything. So
yeah, it's true. Okay. Well, Brian, if people want to find you, how can they find you?
So people can go onto I'm on social media. I have an Instagram and a Facebook and Twitter, or they call it X now, and a Thread.
That's right.
And LinkedIn and all of those great things. So I'm on all the different social media right now.
Are you under Brian A. Metcalf? Or
I'm under BA Metcalf 1.
BA Metcalf 1. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm under all of that except for my X, which is just BA Metcalf. But other than that, it's BA Metcalf 1 for pretty much everything.
Okay. I love it. All right. Well, you've been awesome. And as we wrap this up, I would love to do my 5 for 5, and it's 5 goofy questions. They're not that goofy, but a little bit. So
Sure,
if you're ready, we'll rock and roll.
Absolutely.
Okay, here we go. First question is, what is your favorite food?
Oh my gosh. I love so many different foods. One thing I'm craving right now is spaghetti.
That's fun.
I'm vegetarian, so
okay, we are too in my house. I love that.
Great. Yeah, no, but I love Italian, I love Chinese, I love Indian, Mexican, I love everything.
You love food?
I love food. So it's hard to narrow it down to one. It just depends on the mood that I'm in specifically. But yeah, right now I'm craving Italian.
That is so cool. Okay, here's one. It's not that crazy, but what is something that inspires you or motivates you that isn't necessarily film related, but in life?
Something that motivates me in life. I think anything artistic. I love artwork. I love fashion. I love design. I love anything that's artistic.
Yeah, you are so creative. You just are walking creativity. Because I see that just on your skill set. You are a true artist. You're not just like a director or a writer. You're art.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Oh my goodness. Okay, no, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, but yeah, that's stuff that I really enjoy. I love going to museums and all of those things and all the creative things.
I love that.
Looking at galleries and comic books and everything. So
that's so sweet. And this will probably segue into this question, and then they get goofy again. But what is one thing you have always dreamed of doing, not film related, but you haven't done yet?
Oh my goodness. There are so many things that I want to do that I haven't had the chance to do yet. That's not film related that I would love to do. I think one thing that I've always enjoyed, I've always wanted to create maybe like design a line of clothing. I thought that would always be really interesting to do. I've always had an interest in fashion and other things like that. And
oh my gosh, with your skill set, you could totally do that. I could see you doing that with your artistic abilities.
Well, thank you. It's something that I think it'd be fun. It's just if I ever find the time to do it.
You know what? After your first Oscar or something, you will. I love it.
Hopefully someday.
Okay, here's number 4. What is your favorite song to sing at the top of your lungs when you're driving in the car and you think no one's looking or listening?
Oh my goodness. Again, so many options to choose from. Right now, I'm really on a Halsey kick, and so I really like the song "Bad at Love" by Halsey.
Oh, can you sing it?
Can I sing it?
I'm just kidding. I haven't heard it yet, but I'm old. So.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Oh my God.
Yeah,
okay, number 5. Our final question, and I find this one that turns out it's very hard for filmmakers, but what is your favorite movie?
So many good movies. Yeah. I that's impossible to narrow it down to.
I know.
Film. That being said, I have a lot of great films that I love. Obviously, the choices like The Godfather is a great film.
Oh yeah.
Let the Right One In was a really good film.
What's something you've watched like 100 times?
Yeah, this is a guilty pleasure that I've really enjoyed was RoboCop, believe it or not.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, I found that to be a really fun guilty pleasure.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Just because I thought it was a really well done storyline and
it was
a really well done film.
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, that could have gone so cheesy.
And they didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't go that route at all.
Wow.
But there are so many great movies. I can't even name one specific film. I'm a huge fan of so many directors: Stanley Kubrick, Michael Mann, Steven Spielberg, who I finally met for the first time this last year twice.
Oh my God. Wow.
So that was on my bucket list.
Oh my God, that makes me think of 100 more questions, but I probably should wrap it up. But I'm just curious, is there someone you're dreaming of working with that you haven't worked with yet?
Oh my goodness.
There's a lot.
Yeah, no, there are so many amazing, talented actors I'd love to work with. I'd like to work with some people that I can't work with, like Daniel Day-Lewis. I would have loved to have worked with him as an actor.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
There's some Gary Oldman I'd love to work with.
Wow.
I'd love to work with Keanu Reeves because he's so cool.
Oh, God, I kind of want to do that, too. I always think about him. I have a feature film I want to do, and I'm like, he's perfect because it's about musicians. So maybe one day, but I love that. Well, you have been awesome. I hope I get to talk to you again. And come back and let me know when your next thing is coming out. And we hope the strike wraps up soon for us all.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's been fantastic talking with you.
Yes, you too. And have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Today's show is sponsored by Gym Kitty, helping women on their health and wellness journey by providing high-quality, organically sourced vitamins and supplements. Visit them today at www.gymkitty.net. You've been listening to Movie Making with Renelle Golden. Be sure to come back for our next episode where we bring you the people who make movies you love. Got a topic about filmmaking you want to hear on our podcast? Send us an email at moviemakingpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.
This podcast has been sponsored by Samara Entertainment.